there's the gate. The sound of that music when that thing opens.
Yeah! 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 Yeah!
Like anything else, obviously, only the sword can open that gate, as well as kill the Colossi. It's very, very important to this place. Oh hey, God damn it. White-tailed lizard. Wanted to call it a crystal one. Because of all the Dark Souls. Sorry. And last save point. Well, last, and it's the last one you can find in the game. I haven't gone off camera and grabbed all the other ones quite yet. Hopefully I will eventually. Alright, up there. Final space. Final encounter. Final destination. Let's go. I wanted to let that scene play out there. All these years later, it still hits pretty hard because she bucks you forward because Wander and Aggro share that bond, as does the player with her at this point, at least hopefully. That watching her fall from this height and just no response, just gone. I mean, very loyal, very real feeling character. Again, as I stated before, she's not a vehicle, she's not a she's not just means to an end. She actually feels like her own character, despite having no lines, nothing. For other fans of people who are watching Genndy Tartakovsky's Primal, it's on TV or internet now, however the hell you choose to watch it, being able to show a bond between characters with zero dialogue is really hard to do, and this, and as well as that show, really nails it. And if you aren't watching Genndy Tartakovsky's Primal, you should. Especially if you like dinosaurs. It is bloody, but it works. It doesn't feel overly over the top. It doesn't feel completely unnecessary. It fits with the tone and story they're trying to tell. Colossi number 16, the final. Malice. That storm has fully moved in. Rain, lightning. And final titan that stands in our way. Get our wish granted. Cost a lot, personally and physically. Malus, if his name was enough indication, is very aggressive sort of Colossi. Has to be. It's the final one, and we'll get into that in a little bit. He's able to shoot energy projectiles from his hands. Very strong, single, powerful shots. As you can see, they're rattling the stone walls and earth around it when it fires. This arena for him is definitely another one of those ones where it feels like the place was constructed specifically for him. Very likely didn't have another use beforehand. Could have been something converted to it, but as it stands now, given these barricades with the eye holes in order to see through, it feels like this place was built to contain Malus and potentially breathe life into him, and these barricades and all these tunnels were built in order for the workers and all manner of people that were involved in his creation to escape after his given life. Hit that button a little too soon. Even though we can't see him, he can see us, and he is gunning for us. Almost literally. Oh. And yeah, he's a real sharpshooter for someone hitting such a relatively small target compared to him. I mean, we're like an ant in comparison, and he's nailing us with those shots. Or me, rather. Case in point. The musical track that plays is called Demise of the Ritual. It's unique to his battle. And pretty self-explanatory. Its death will be the end of the ritual that Dorman requires of us in order for him to grant our wish. Here we are, beneath the mighty colossal tower. I'd like to take a moment to note that Malus's feet here, the way that these shoes are built, always gave me the impression that they're bolted to the floor. And we'll have some more evidence for that in the next several minutes, but it's also his ankles are like large bolts themselves, and the majority of his skin is, unlike most colossi, it's some sort of glowing, almost otherworldly substance. It's where our skin would be in with the others. Gives the impression that it's been here a very long time, or those who created this thing did so very quickly and got out. It's a large skirt, dress, whatever you want to call it. To me it evokes really old, ancient Buddhist temples around Asia and places like that. A little bit of pagodas. And you can see, like, right here, you'll notice the sigil that's also on Wander's back, as well as the weak point of all the prior colossi is inscribed into these stone panelings. But particularly, it reminds me of Angkor Wat and the Mahabodhi Temple, two Buddhist temples that have some vaguely similar architectural design with his skirt here, without being a direct copy of either. And then, of course, combine that with a pagoda. Then given a very angular construction. Something I really appreciate here in this remake is just how well the real-time lighting works, and those giant energy coil armbands are giving off light. They didn't do that so much in the PS2, PS3 release. Its response will be thy road. Yeah, I know, Dorman. I'm working on it. Trying to be analytical and philosophical here. It's kind of my shtick. Thin compared to their colossi, prehensile hands. What we need to do here is try to find a good spot and stab away in order to get his hand to stay steady for a moment. Like so. Oops, wrong button. Can't quite see there, so I am not going to risk it. There we go. Oh boy, worry about stamina now. Okay, phew. Almost there. Let's get my stamina back. Before we climb the final peak. There we go. Hold still. One and only sigil at the top. This dynamic camera really sells this moment. One more. The last of the Colossus. Notice in death, its feet do not move. That in addition to its large skirt, dress, whatever you want to call it, keeps it from fully toppling over. That wasn't quite supposed to happen that way. Actually, forced some collision detection there. I should have been on the floor or somewhere else. Not hovering in midair. Now here Lord Emon and his troop, as we were speaking about a few minutes ago, have arrived. But they're too late. Soldiers here look very similar to the ones in Eco. And that is no mistake or coincidence. Lord Emon. And down goes Malice. No. You see Mono upon the altar. She has a design stitched into her clothing there. It's not quite like the sigil on Wander and the Colossi. Here we see Wander being lifted up. Bright light. This is very much how he was transported from one area to the other. There's no translations for what they were saying. Wander being more sick and pale as ever, now with the glowing teal eyes. I don't believe this. So it was you after all. Have you any idea what you've done? Not only did you steal the sword and trespass upon this cursed land, you used the forbidden spell as well. To be reduced to such a sight. Note how his eyes are the same color as those of the Colossi. You were only being used. And he is horned like many of them. Eradicate the source of the evil. Look, he's possessed by the dead. Hurry up and do it. It is better to put him out of his misery than to exist cursed as he is. And now, the same black blood erupts from him as it did all those Colossi. Literally and figuratively. And some of the same music starts to play. Thou severed our body into 16 segments, for an eternity in order to seal away our power. We Dorman have arisen anew. He's been resurrected. We have borrowed the body of this warrior. Notice those shadowy figures are now becoming part of him. Place the seal over the entire shrine before it's too late. And now, we actually are Dorman. You're large, you're slow, you can barely move. It's difficult to track all these small targets. Note how you only have one interaction here, and that's to attack. You move awful slowly. Part of the reason might be because Wanderer, while he was still at least somewhat human, received that blow to the leg. Notice how Dorman's leg there is wounded. He can't stand. And he's forced to drag it along. Ready, my horse? Be gone, foul beast. And again, we're playing. Try as we might, we cannot resist this vortex of light. We can hold on. We can try. But no matter what, eventually you'll run out of stamina. You cannot go forward enough. Mono will lay there on her altar. For all the giant beasts we slayed, all the lizards we ate, and fruit, this forbidden place, it doesn't escape this light. We're pulled into it. And now their ritual is complete. And with it, the bridge to this so-called forsaken, forbidden lands is destroyed. To make it that much harder for anyone else to come back here. But why? Mono awakes. Question I've had on this that never been able to nail down the answer like so many in the that relate to this game is I still like to lean more towards this one, but I think Dorman made good on his end of the bargain. Problem is, Wanderer became what he did before it happened. They both got what they wanted. Though, I've had another interpretation in recent years that just struck me was maybe Wanderer did it while he was being inhabited by Dorman, having just enough influence to grant his wish and bring your soul back. And thankfully, that girl did not die. She is injured, though. Two clearly knew each other in life as well. That was a developer at Blue Point who unfortunately passed away at the production of this game. Now, the credits, which you can interact with, just like most any cutscene, show you the remains of all those Colossi. I've struggled with the morality in this one. Like, again, this Last of Us is another more recent example. And, I mean, when it comes to this series in particular, sacrifice for some nebulous good is pervasive in all three games, and with that context, it makes it even harder to disagree with what Wanderer did. The way I like to phrase it is, what you did was wrong, but I can't say I'd do any different. And that's also under the assumption that Dorman really is some truly evil. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know his history. The most we have is that he attacked those that were trying to kill him, and that he's a dark thing, dark, shadowy creature. I'd like to know his full history, what he did. Is it the magic and spells he attempted? Was he always like this thing? Is he some dark god that they managed to cast away by some strange ritual where they build these titans? We'll never know, and that's gonna be your own personal interpretation. Because again, another thing is in a lot of Japanese fiction and storytelling, light and darkness are not equal to good and evil. They're two halves of the same coin, which is something that's not touched on as well in Western media. Poor ungodly soul. Now no man shall ever trespass upon this place again. Should you be alive, it is impossible to continue to exist in these sealed lands. One day perhaps you'll make atonement for what you've done. From this perspective, it's easy to hate Lord Iman and those who did this to Wander, and extension Agro and Mono here. I don't think there's any great side to this. There's just multiple dark shades of gray. And here is Wander, reborn as a child with horns. Showing where the line began for the Horn Boys and Eco. I mean, on my point of Lord Iman is that they're, as far as I'm aware, I believe they were doing at least what they thought was right as well on top of it. Because when we get into the subject of like religious dogmas, it's I'd say it's less black and white, but it gives you context for why one belief system set in its ways might see another one as heretical or blasphemous or even evil. This is a very common theme throughout human history, unfortunately. I mean, there's a real interesting way how soul sacrifice for the Vita handles this kind of thing as well. Multiple tribes worshipping separate gods, and how one hates the other and why, and how it's dark and light are two halves of the same thing. And it's how they're used that's more important than what they're made of. And I think that needs to be thought of here as well, though. And I'd say the things are a lot more clear as far as morality goes in Eco and The Last Guardian versus Shadow of the Colossus. Here we've Mono, Agro, and Baby Wander have taken a route that's not in the game up to the top of the tower here, which has some wildlife that doesn't exist anywhere else in the open world, notably these deer, and I'm pretty sure the squirrels as well. These things likely have never seen human beings in their entire lifetime, given their location. And the game here closes out on following this hawk, which is, if you recall the intro, we followed more or less into the ancient land. And I've always personally seen it as an interpretation or a shadow to wander. Something like a wandering warrior kind of deal. And in some ways, potentially a necessary evil. Like, compared to the doves that it's frightened off, which are akin to Mono. It's the white, pure, hasn't done anything wrong, as far as we know. Again, she was sacrificed for having a cursed fate, which means Lord Iman and any people involved with that ended her life for reasons we'll never know. It's which again, the potentially unnecessary sacrifice is very prominent in Eco and The Last Guardian, and how we choose to see that. And bearer of the curse. And yeah, for more on the closing thoughts. Trophy earned, last man standing. To enter time attack mode, press R2 in front of a Colossus statue in the shrine. New Game Plus and Mirror World modes are now available. Yeah, and here's a bit of that intro again. We're gonna skip past it, but you can see where the hawk is. We were just talking about. Okay, lost my train of thought there, but yeah. Characters being sacrificed for one reason or another, in generally as for the people who are doing the sacrifice, are saying it's in the name of the good for somebody else. But at the end of it, it's never them who are sacrificing something. It is the horned boy, is the boy abducted, is the pure white woman who had a full life ahead of her. So it's real hard to see their side when we don't know all of it. This is a fun little thing that was added for this specific remake, is that if you leave it idle on the menu long enough, it'll start following something around by the shrine. I was leaving it idle several times to set up recordings and all that, and beforehand it would focus on aggro, and Wander is sleeping at the shrine and she'd just run around the area just enjoying herself. Looks like after you beat the game you get something like this, but with the hawk instead. Which is a fun little additional, just harmless little bonus that I really like. It's also a nice way to look at at least the area around the shrine immediately. And yes, you can hit the right analog stick and look around as well here. I was kind of hoping we get the aggro one, but seeing this new thing is pretty cool too. Alright, to wrap this up, today is the November 1st, because, well, I'm doing another late fucking showing right here, session right here, and I am massively looking forward to Bluepoint's remake of From Software's Demon Souls, We're gonna go look at the image gallery too while I talk about that. These are gonna be comparisons to the original PS2 game on the left, with the PS4 reimagining on the right. This was the cave on the way to the 14th Colossi. And then there's the ruined entryway to his city. Colossi 15's gate. You can really see the amount of care and living detail they put from one to the other. A valley on the way to the end. Shrine of worship. I really appreciate their reinterpretations of this source material. And I understand why people complain about this kind of thing, because when you're adapting something much older, far less detailed, in addition to nostalgia, you're also dealing with how people filled the blanks in with their own mind and imagination. And now that something is more detailed, they feel that's been robbed of them, even though it's ridiculous. No one's hurting no one's asking you to reinterpret how you feel or to change how you feel. You're just getting to look at how someone else feels and looks at it. Like this. I appreciate the remake version here more because it's more old and busted versus the original on the left of Avion's arena, because it actually looks older and more beaten down versus the more or less perfect lattice fence there. Shrine of worship. Notice how the columns that span both sides of the gap of that land bridge are far more ornate in the remake than they are in the original. And that's all the comparison images I've unlocked. They all have different requirements for doing so. Here's Valis. Nice look at just a nice render. Quadratus, Gaius, Phaedra, Avion, Barba, Hydrus, Kuramure, Basaran, and Dirge. God, Celosia, Pelagia, Phalanx, Zenobia, Argus, and Malus. More Malus, and there's his nice render there. Lord Emon, his soldiers, and their mask. Aggro. Multiple different swords you can unlock, or I believe that second one is the DLC life sword that when you stab you regain some health. I have that from the pre-order, but I did not turn it on for purposes of this playthrough. We're not gonna go quite through all these, but looking at all these gallery and concepts makes me really excited for Demon Souls, and with all the trailers we've seen so far, definitely. And I can't wait, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna have another image gallery with concept art and hopefully nice model renders. And thank fucking goodness the Demon Souls remake is gonna have a photo mode, which is going to allow you to basically pause the game, and that's going to be real great for getting it close to details, as well as if I need to take a break in the middle of a fight in the Souls game and I'm playing offline, I appreciate the pause. Neo does it and it doesn't hurt anything. Just disable it for online mode. And that being said, thank you all very much for joining me on this journey to Forbidden Lands, and I hope to see you sometime later with an entirely different game. Something with similar vein of vague, interpretive lore. Till next time, have a good one.